Okay, good morning class.
Morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
How's your day class?
We're good, sir.
We're fine, sir.
Fine, sir.
That's good to know. So before we formally start our morning, let's have a short prayer first to be led by Mr. Princel Miranda.
Yes.
So it's not
Okay. Oh Lord, we offer you this hour for the glory of sanctification of our soul. Blessed our thoughts and our words and our action. Amen.
Okay, thank you Mr. Miranda. So before we start, I just want to remind you all that if you have a problem with your internet connection, just tell me and keep your microphone mute. And if you want to answer, press the raise hand icon and wait for you to call your name. Are we clear, class?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Very
Yes,
good.
sir.
yes, sir.
And where is Miss Secretary? Okay, Miss Secretary, please check the attendance and submit it to me later if who are the absent today. Do you understand? Okay, thank you. So, class, I give you an assignment last meeting, right? And the last submission is tonight at 11:59 p.m. only. So, to those who are not yet finished, do that while there is still time and pass your assignment before the deadline. Did you understand, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, class, uh, let's recall our past lesson. Who among you can recall our past topic? Anyone from the class? Okay, yes, Mr. JR. What did you learn in our previous topic?
Sir, our past lesson is all about hand tools and equipment, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. JR. So, lastly, we discussed about the different types of tools in technical drafting. And example, uh, one of the example is like pencil, ruler, T-square, and etc. All these tools, uh, it puts together all of the important aspects such as materials needed and its specification and measurement into detailed drawings for a wide range of construction projects. So, so before we formally move on to our topic, let's have an activity first. And this activity is entitled Feel Me. So we will be using the WordWall platform for our short activity. Okay class, I will give the link where you can enter for our activity. So I will send the link in the chat box. So okay class, here is the instruction. Please read um, Raniel.
Instruction. In the word wall link given, it will show one sentence or phrase at a time, and each of you must guess what is the missing word. You will select the correct word between the two words presented above the phrase or sentence. You will drag and drop the word into the blank space within the text.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Aranyel. Okay, class, the three students who will make it on the top of our leaderboard will be the winner and receive plus points to our quiz later. Okay, are you ready, class?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
So the game link is now available in the chat box area. You may now begin participating in the activity. Good luck and have fun. Okay, class. I think you are all done in our activity. So, mm, congratulations to all the winners, and for the top 3 will receive plus points after the class. So, let's now move on. Um, what we've just had has something to do with our lesson for today. Um, is Okay, class. So moving forward, our lesson for today is the proper care and maintenance of drawing instruments, supplies, and equipment. So today we're going to talk about this um, proper care and maintenance of drawing. So I hope you maintain your interest in our lesson. So last meeting we've studied the basic drafting tools, and today we're going to tackle its proper maintenance. Okay, class. Who among you can give me an example of one thing and how do you maintain its proper care? So just click the raise hand icon for you to be recognized. Um, let's call J. De La Cruz.
Sir, uh, the thing that I always care is my cell phone, sir.
Okay,
And
and
lagi ko tong iniingatan, sir, kasi ito yung ginagamit ko araw-araw sa school, sir.
okay, thank you for that example, Mr. J. And that is correct. And I know that all of us have things that we maintain. Am I right, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Class, drafting tools are indispensable implements needed by the drafter to perform his or her task. A good set of drafting instruments can be quite an investment. Therefore, this equipment must be well taken care of. Keeping your drafting tools clean, well maintained, and properly stored will result in better performance and longer service life. Okay, let's proceed to our main topic. Um, Kindly read uh, number 1, Danjo Fernandez.
Pencil. Never sharpen the pencil over the drawing or close to any of your equipment. Always keep the lid sharp.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fernandez. So, in pencil, let in pencil, protect them from shock. So, uh, hand, just like in the other thing, uh, always handle with care with pencil. And other thing, when working with several pencils at once, also avoid constantly laying them down and picking them up again. it's better to hold them in the hand that isn't drawing. To properly clean your pencils, after sharpening them, pass over the lead with a paintbrush to remove the color residue. So the next one is, kindly read Mr. JR.
Do not use the T-square for any purposes. Never cut paper along its working edge, since the plastic can easily be damaged. Even lightning can rent the T-square.
Okay, thank you, Mr. JR. For additional, take care not to damage the ruling edge of the T-square, and always clean the T-square before and after using. And don't use the T-square as a hammer or an axe. So the next one is, please read Mr. Princel.
Ruler or scale. Scales should not be prinked with needle points of either the divider or compass. When measurements are taken, do not use scale as a ruler.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Princel. And additionally, ensure that uh, ruler or scale is clean and dry before storing. They can usually be cleaned with soap and water or a mild solvent. Metal rules can be have a little bit of oil rub into them occasionally. So to help prevent rust, they should be stored in the flat drawer or toolbox so they won't get bent and the edges won't get damaged. So the next one is, okay, please read Mr. Raymond.
Speed ball pens and lettering pens. After using, clean the speed ball pen by wiping off or scraping the ink on it with clean cloth with is a little wet, or you may use for scrub. The lettering pens, like technical pens, should be cleaned at once with clean water and soap. Wipe it off with clean cloth.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ferret. So here are the some tips to remove the protective coating from new nibs before use with speedball pen cleaner. Then dry them completely. And always keep the speedball nibs dry, and wet nibs will rust and they are useless when rusted. So let's now proceed to the next one. Um, Mr. Malikdam, please read.
Divider and compasses. Do not do not oil the joints of the legs of the dividers. Do not use the divider as substitute for thumbtacks in fastening the drawing paper on the drawing board or tabletop. The needle point must be sharp and of equal length.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Malikdam. So protect compass and divider joints by inserting them into a piece of soft rubber or similar material. Then never store ink pens without first cleaning and drying them, though roughly. So the next one is rolling pen. So kindly read Mr. Ramasanta.
Ruling pen. Sharpen the nibs or blade of the ruling pen when it is no longer in a parabolic shape. Letter B. Rub the dried ink on the nibs with the use of paper to avoid clogging at its end when in use.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ramasanta. So by cleaning the pen, remove the extra ink. Then from the pen by drawing until the ink is drained. And rinse the pen under steady water. So dry thoroughly so the pen doesn't rust. Okay, class. Are you still with me, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, thank you. So let's now move on. The next one is drawing paper. So kindly read Miss Apales.
Drawing paper. It should be stored in rolled form. It should not be crumpled or wet or kept in a moist or cold place. Oslo papers or bond papers must be kept in a large envelope.
Okay, thank you, Miss Pales. So the last one is masking tape eraser, and erasing shield. So should be kept together with other supplies to avoid losing it. So first, you should store tape somewhere away from the light, particularly windows. Why? Then you should store the tape in a cool place. The cooler, the better. Also, make sure to keep it dry. So, okay, class. So the next one is, so I think this will be the last. Watercolor. Please read Mr. De La Cruz.
Tube watercolor should be left uncovered to avoid drying up.
Okay, thank you. So, keep the watercolor away from heat, oils, odors, and moisture in the kitchen. Also, do not hang them near heaters or other heat emitting appliances because that will damage the color pigments permanently. So, the last one is the drawing board. Kindly read Mr. Fernandez.
Drawing board. It should always be in good working condition. It must always be cleaned on or before using. Letter C. Do not leave any kind of marks on your board to retain its smoothness.
Okay, very good, Mr. Fernandez. So, in drawing board, clean the drawing table regularly. Then check for smoothness and wash hands before working. So, let's now move on to the another tips in proper care of uh, drafting tools. So, the first one is uh, be sure to inspect tools before using them. So, this is to check if they are in working condition, and this can be detected when there is ease and speed when in use. So the next one is after using a tool, clean it thoroughly with a damp cloth. So wipe it dry with another piece of cloth before keeping it. Then the third one is when not in use, the square is preferably hung by um, inserting the hole to a nail. So attach to a wall at the end of its blade. Then next one is kindly read Mr. Roma Santa.
Do not abuse or misuse any piece of drawing instrument.
So our drawing instruments is designed as a tool in working and not a toy which can be played only. So the next one is Mr. Malikdam, please read.
Avoid throwing a tool to anybody. Instead, hand it over to himself carefully.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Malikdam. So avoid throwing a tool to anybody and instead hand it over to him carefully, especially when you just borrow it, the tools. So the sixth is avoids setting of the distances individually by moving the scale to a new position from time to time. So the next one is avoid unnecessary sliding T-square or triangles protect the drawing. So pick up the triangles by its tip and tilt the T-square blade upward slightly before moving. So the next one is Mr. De La Cruz, please read.
Do not pull too much the steel tape of pull push rule to prevent fall spring from damage.
Okay, thank you, Mr. De La Cruz. So the next one is uh, kindly read Mr. Ferrer. Yes, Mr. Akasho, kindly read number 9. So number 9, oil the movable parts of the measuring tools. So for example of zigzag rules, calipers, dividers, compasses, to avoid stuck up. So you can also use a WD-40 for the joints of these tools. So, and the last one is uh, please read J.R. De La Cruz.
Report detective measuring tools and any hazard to the instructor immediately.
Okay, thank you, Mr. De La Cruz. So, um, okay, class. Are you still there, class?
Yes,
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 sir.
sir.
sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
very good. So, the
Yes, sir.
performance of simple cleaning maintenance and storage procedures help a lot in keeping the efficiency of every drafting instrument. The early detection and reparation of any signs of deterioration will enable the drafter to save time and resources in the future. So, do you have any question, class?
None, sir.
Answer.
Answer.
Okay, then I will be the one to give you questions. Uh, so, the first one is why do we need to study the proper care of hand tools and equipment in technical drafting? So, this will be answered by Mr. Ferrer.
Sir, why do we need to study the proper care of hand tools and equipment in technical drafting in order for us to know the proper care of our tools and equipment at the same time to prolong their lifespan?
Okay, very well said, Mr. Ferrer. So, the next questions, let's have Mr. Miranda. So, how can you apply this procedure in real life?
Sir, how can you apply this procedure in real life? Of course, by applying those procedures that connected with our topic and of course, those steps.
Okay, very good, Mr. Miranda. So, thank you. Uh, as what Mr. Miranda said, we can also apply this procedure in other things that can also help our daily lives. So, the last question will be answered by uh, Mr. Akasho. So, how to prepare hand tools and equipment in technical drafting?
So, sir, first is you need to organize your hand tools by its use. Like for pencils, pens, and crayons or coloring materials, you need to organize it by its use.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Akasho. So, it is correct that we prepare the tools based on the job that we are going to do. So, did I make myself clear, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, okay, class. So, before we move on to our virtual quiz, for those who have no recitation, I will give you a chance to participate in our final activity. Are we clear, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So, in this activity, I'm going to show one at a time the different pictures of drafting tools and equipment on my screen. And all you have to do is to tell me the procedure of proper care of this tool. So, are you ready, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, it's now. The first picture is to be answered by Mr. JR. So, can you guess what is in the picture?
Pencil, sir.
Okay, so can you tell me the uh, uh, proper care of the pencil?
Sir, when we use this pencil, always be careful because there are pointed part and never sharpen the pencil over your drawing, sir.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. JR. So, never sharpen the pencil over the drawing or close to any of your equipment and always keep the lid sharp. So, Mr. JR is correct. So, the next one is to be answered by Mr. Fernandez.
T square.
Okay, very good. So, uh, what is the proper care of T square, Mr. Fernandez?
Do not use T square in any rough surfaces.
Okay, thank you. So, um, do not use the T square for any rough or process and never cut off. I cut paper along its working edge. Um, so the last one is to be answered by Mr. Romasanta.
Sir, it is a drawing board. So it should always be in good working condition and it must always be clean on or before using it.
Okay, very good. So Mr. Romasanta is correct. You got the correct answer. So congratulations to everyone who called in our recitation and who participated in our activity for today. So I think you are now ready for our short quiz today. So let's get started. Okay, class. So uh, prepare yourself for the short quiz. Keep updated because I will post the link of your quiz in the chat box and you have only 20 minutes to finish. Before you start, read the instruction first before answering and please open your camera so I can see you and avoiding cheating during the quiz. Are we clear, class? So please open your camera.
Yes, sir.
So for the direction of this one, this test one is true or false. So kindly read Mr. Malikdam.
Right A. So the direction is right A if is it agree. Then NA if not agree. If the statement is false, write your answer in the space provided.
Okay, thank you Mr. Malikdam. So for the test 2, kindly read Mr. Ferrer.
Test 2 matching type. Direction match column A with column B. Write only the letter of the correct answer on the blank provided before each number.
Okay, thank you. And for the test 3 is essay, and it composed of 5 points. So um, so for the test 3, uh, you're going to answer as a student, why is it important to take good care of tools and equipment, materials in drawing? So, okay class, you may now start answering the quiz. Okay, I think you are all done class. So for your assignment, make an advanced reading about the occupational health and safety tips on technical drafting. So I'm glad that we achieved for today's discussion. So uh, do you have any questions class before we end up this meeting?
None, sir.
So if you have no questions, let's call it a day and goodbye class.
Bye, sir.
Bye,
Bye,
sir.
Bye,
sir.
Bye.
sir.
You can
Bye,
leave
sir.
it.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.